What's going on, guys? This is a Flaskcast. This is going to be a series of videos on the Flask Web Development Framework. And what I'm going to do here today is just kind of go over a really basic Flask application. Um, Introductory. Flask is like I said, a very simple web development framework that uses the Python programming language. Um, for whatever reason, I decided I wanted to get back into web development, and I used to do a lot of PHP, MySQL stuff back in the day, and I stumbled upon Flask and really kind of fell in love with the Python programming language, and I've been doing a lot of stuff with it. It's more of a hobby for me. I don't do it professionally, but I wanted to start a website just as I learn and as I go to kind of document, and hopefully I can help other people out. So basically what you want to do, I use PyCharm as my Python editor. You can use whatever editor you want to. The reason I use PyCharm basically is just really powerful. You have a terminal kind of built in down here, and a console that you can pull up and type stuff in while you're coding up here to just test things out. So what I'm going to do though is I'm just going to show you what I've done so far. First thing you need to do, you need to create a virtual environment, and there's ways of doing that from the command line, but you don't necessarily have to, but I recommend you do. And as you can see, my virtual environment here is called episode 1 Flaskcast. Up here at the top you can see I did this command, pip install Flask. Now what that does is it downloads the Flask library to your virtual environment and installs it, and it did that already, so I'm not going to do that again. But you can see what it does. It gets dependencies that it needs to function, and as we go along we'll learn more about that. But we're going to do a basic application today. So what we're going to do is, the first thing you got to do is import the Flask module. So you go from Flask, import Flask, and that basically makes Flask available to your application. And then you gotta make an application. So you go app equals Flask under name, and that initializes the application. Next, you want to go down to the main bottom of the file, and you basically, what you're doing here is you do if name is equal to under main. That'll just basically says if this file or this app is calling the module, we can run it. So we go app.run, and then I'm going to set the debug here equal to true, and that'll allow us to get that allows us to run the application when we're done. So you have to define a route. So basically what this is, the Flask application is running here, and you have to define a route so you can access it either via something like an API. Maybe if you're doing an API, which is something that's really useful with Flask, is you can define the API endpoints to return the data that you need to feed whatever application that's accessing it, or you just need to access it via the browser. So you'll need a route. So to do that, you do this decorator here called add-app.route, and then you just define the rule here. So we're going to say just the index is just the base route here. So you can call this function whatever you want to, but since it's the index, we're just going to call it index. You don't have to do anything here. You just go down and you return something. So we're going to return hello from Flask. And you can actually do some HTML here just to make it look cool. We'll do let's do H1, or an H1 tag around that. Now what's going to happen is when we run this when we run this application code here, we're going to get a server on our local host that we can access this application. So you'll hit run app and it does this down here at the bottom. Since I'm using PyCharm, it does this. If you were running this from the terminal, you'd get a similar output as this right here. And you can click the link and boom, there's your application. Hello from Flask. So that is the most basic thing you can do with Flask, but you can see how easy it is to get started and how easy it is to have an application run right off the bat. So there's a lot more to this, and we're going to go into a lot of stuff in the coming episodes, but I just wanted to get something up and online to show you guys how powerful this is and how easy it is to use. And we'll do some more in-depth explanations here on all this stuff, but again, I just wanted to get something online, and hopefully this is helpful. And keep coming back. Again, my website's going to be called flaskcast.com, and I'm going to do just screencasts on Flask and Python, and maybe get into some Django or whatever in the future, but right now we're going to focus on learning Flask. So thanks for visiting, and hopefully you guys got something out of this. Again, we'll do another video soon.